Hi there, Loy Machedo. Speaking to you from LoyMachedo.com. Who is Loy Machedo? Think Personal Branding. I got a rather strange question that was sent to me, obviously by a fake anonymous email. So the question that was asked was, what is my opinion? Okay, what is my opinion about Hindus being allowed to wear or carry their symbols of their religion in educational institutes or in offices and all that? Okay, and this is in reference to in India. So this individual has asked me, like, what do I think about it? Now, I do not know what is the reason that was asked or what. So I said, okay, you're asking me a question, I'll give you my answer. So, and feel free to put down your thoughts and comments as to, what do you think on this subject. Now, before I do get into this answer, my request, as always, is don't use segments of my video to promote hate or to create problems or violence. Okay, that's not the purpose of this. This is just to exchange ideas. Okay, all right. So, should Hindus be allowed to show or carry the symbols of their religion in educational institutes or in workplaces or in general? Now, if you're talking about the West, I don't think the West has any issues or problems unless, of course, there is an institute that explicitly has rules that you cannot wear religious symbols. But I doubt they have a problem in educational institutes. So now, since it is asked about India, I I really don't see what is the issue. Say, very simple. A Christian wears a cross. A Muslim, especially the women, they wear their, hijab, and they wear their, some places they wear their burqa. Okay, agreed. Now in Karnataka, in some places, they have said no. So Sikhs, they wear their turban. Um, I don't see why a Hindu cannot wear their religious symbols. Now, obviously, it shouldn't be for the sake of causing trouble or for the sake of, um, instigating a fight or something dangerous. Let's say, for example, someone says, okay, Hindu, he wants to wear a Hindu band or he wants to wear a religious symbol or a tika and all that, fine. But that doesn't mean you take a knife or a sword or one of their gods, that is Lord Shiva, has a trishul. You don't take a trident over there. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Now, I know there is one side of the debate that will say, yeah, but this is not mandatory like us. See, over here, I'll tell you, this is where a gray area takes place. Muslims, if you ask some Muslims, is the hijab compulsory? They will say no, it is optional. Some places, if you ask, is the hijab like a woman must wear? Some women will say yes, that is to show that you're pious. Some others will say, under my comments, Muslims have literally, so many different opinions. Some people are saying this is an act of decency. Some people say this is written in the Quran, which I don't know, or this is as per Quran, or this is as per tradition. Some others are saying, no, where exactly is it written in the Quran? Some are saying, no, Allah gives you the freedom. So I'm not trying to get into what is right and what is wrong. They choose whether they want to wear it or don't want to wear it. Yes, in some countries like Saudi, it is mandatory. Now I do not know if King Salman has made it optional. Iran, it is mandatory. Certain places, maybe villages in Afghanistan or Pakistan, it is mandatory. Even in India, uh, even though it is optional, most of the places, some places, especially I think in Kerala and all that, it's mandatory by family rules, okay, because of the rules that they follow. So religion is a very personalized, it's a very customized kind of thing. Each one follows what they believe is right or wrong. So just as Muslims can choose what they want to do, I think Hindus definitely should be given. And come on, think about it. India is 80% Hindus. It It is the home for Hindus. And that is why, if you actually see Hindus, that is the name of their religion, and the name of the country is Hindustan. Hindustan. Now, I do not know if the name Hindustan was derived from Hindu. You can correct me on that. But I don't see what is the problem. Now, having said that, I always believe that you should not use religion to cause trouble, or for your ego, or for the purposes of, oh, you're wearing this, I'll show you, I'll wear this. No, it should be something that you believe in, something that you practice, something that you are actually doing, not for I'll show you, and not for revenge, and not for creating problems. That is why, if you actually see my videos, I always say, don't use religion to, don't weaponize religion, don't politicize religion, don't use religion as a statement of an ego, don't use religion as I'm superior than you, that is why. No, religion should be used for good, whichever religion you are. And it should be used to do good for others. Now, obviously, it's very easy to say, especially when you have political tension brewing, or you have religious tension brewing. So people then, oh, he's wearing his, let's say, for example, his Muslim logo or Christian logo, whatever, I'll wear mine. Just as political parties, they wear their, okay, these are my banners. The other party will show, these are my banners. But, in a nutshell, if you actually look at it, I find it very surprising that someone would ask, for a Hindu in India, where the majority are Hindus, should they be allowed? I mean, that goes by default. It's like going to Saudi and asking, can a Muslim practice their religion, or can a Muslim dress up like a Muslim? In Saudi, Muslims dress up like Muslims. In fact, in Saudi, they even impose their rules on others. And over here, I know what your answer is going to be. Saudi is not a democracy. India is a democracy. Fine. If India is a democracy and everyone has a freedom to express their feelings and views and thoughts, obviously without hurting, harming anyone, and their religion. So why can't a Hindu not practice their religion? And see, last if not the least, let me state this. If a particular institute, let's say, for example, an institute says, I'm sorry, we don't allow any religious clothing, artifacts, or whatever, you have to dress up as per uniform. Suppose they say that. And let's say people get very angry and say, no, even with the uniform, I still want to wear the hijab or whatever. And they say no. Or a Hindu guy says, no, I want to put, I'm just saying, Hindus don't have anything mandatory. Or, for example, a Sikh, Punjabi who wears a turban, which is mandatory, it's not optional. So now, if the institute says, no, it's not allowed, for example, let's assume they say it's not allowed, then you decide whether you want to go to that institute or no. Nobody is forcing you to go. For example, in the army, they definitely allow the turban, but I do not know how far they allow the hijab or whatever for women. I don't think it's allowed. Now, you can't change the entire army's rules unless, of course, there is a decision by the Supreme Court, because that is how a democracy functions. It has to be agreed by the government or by the Supreme Court. It has to become a law. So, if in case an institute, or let's say an office or a company says, I'm sorry, we don't allow any religious artifacts or identification marks, then don't join that place. Don't ask for your personal satisfaction an entire company or a country to change. Okay, you have to adjust to the country, you have to adjust to the company, you have to adjust to the institute. And many a times, a lot of youngsters who debate and argue in my group, I ask them this very simple question. You're going to school or you're going to college to study, right? Or you're going to school and college to manifest your religion to others. And then even in a company, you're going to the company to work, or you're going to the company to make a statement about your religious beliefs. I think you need to put into perspective what is important. If your religion is so important, don't go to that school. And that is what many people, not many, few people are doing. They, like, I read a news article that a father has decided that his daughters will not go to school. They will do homeschooling because they were not allowed to wear the hijab. In some other cases, they were pretty flexible. They said outside they will wear the hijab, but once they go into school, they'll take it off. So it's not just with regards to Muslims, even for that matter, Hindus. Many of them who are wearing the saffron, bandana, and which actually is optional. It is not mandatory. I don't see people wearing bandanas on a day-to-day basis. Like, it's like Punjabis wearing a turban. So it is optional. But then, like I said, when it comes to the matter of ego and when they politicize it or when they weaponize it, then obviously people start wearing all this. And yes, most important, this goes without saying, weapons, knives, swords and all that, that is not got to do with any religion. Okay. End of the day, I would just say that I think people should be free to practice their religion. People should be free to be proud of their identity, their culture, their tradition. And I don't see any problem in uh, Punjabi or a Sikh dressing as a Sikh, a Muslim dressing up as a Muslim, and Hindu dressing up as an Hindu. Only thing is, if there is a uniform, there should be a code that should be followed. And yes, if you want to wear an accessory to cover your head and all that, and if the institute allows, fine. If they don't allow, then you have to make arrangements to go somewhere else where they allow this. So nobody's forcing you to do what you don't want. Only thing is, you have to decide, do I want to work here or study here? If not, go somewhere else. And last but not the least, before I conclude, I mean, I find it very shocking to know that in India, the majority being Hindus, I mean, they definitely should be allowed to practice their religion with pride, be proud about it, have maintained their culture, their dignity, and their identity. I find this very strange. Anyway, good, bad, ugly, let me know what are your thoughts in the comments below. And like I said, let's use information, let's use this communication, let's use this discussion to promote peace and love and not hatred and violence and problems. All right. So put your comments. I'll be reading it. This is me signing off. You guys take care.